Welcome to Eureka Street Crypto. This is my anti-professional crypto channel. I'm just a barely sane dude who fell down the cryptocurrency rabbit hole. This channel is my fumbling attempt to communicate myself outside my own head about my journey in the crypto space. It is basically my brain dump. None of this is actual financial advice. Good morning, everybody. I'm Eureka John, and you're at Eureka Street Crypto, broadcasting from Leander, Texas. It is 5:48 in the morning on May 3rd, 2022. It is episode number 454, and it is Tuesday. Yep. So we're in May. April seems to have been kind of a crabby market, meaning moving sideways, skittering like a little crab. But there's been a lot of hacks. There's been a lot of dips. So a lot of people, if you're new to the crypto space and this is your first dip or downturn or bear market, well, welcome to it. This time last year, crypto and Bitcoin and everything was just blowing and going, and we hit all-time highs right about April and May. So if you jumped into crypto during that time, you've pretty much just seen nothing but mostly downhill from that point. But that's what happens. In 2018, what was it? Bitcoin went, I can't remember what the peak was at that time, but it dropped from maybe somewhere around like 13,000 to 3,000 or something like that. I don't know. It was pretty dramatic and significant. I'll have to go back and look at it. But anyway, this is my video blog, aka Brain Dump. This is my time in the morning to just vent and talk about some crypto stuff and get it out of my system before I go to work. I drive an hour and 15 minutes to work each way, and it's a lot. And I spend all day doing other stuff, and I don't want to harass people about crypto. I don't want to be that guy. But this is my way, my message in a bottle to get it out there and to be able to build myself a little crypto community. And I've been successful at that. I've met a lot of people in this crypto space. I've interviewed people, had them on the show, had people DM and advise me on certain different types of projects, given me some alpha tips to be able to talk about. So I appreciate all that. And that's why I do it. I'm not really here. I'm not sponsored by anybody. I'm not shilling anything. So, and I'm not here to teach you. This is not a teaching session. This is not financial advice, and this is not fundamental. This is not technical analysis. It's not even educational material. All right. So anyway, let's go to the old CoinGecko and see what we have going on here. CoinGecko is looking kind of red today. Let me just refresh this page, see if anything happened. I got my old kombucha tea here. Cayenne cleanse. It's pretty good, man. Put some hair on your chest. It's got a little, kind of clears the sinuses. And I got a banana. We're going to open that bad boy. So everything's looking a little red over the past 7 days. If you see that third column over there. Nothing but red, except for Tron, which is weird, up 9.6%. I don't know why Tron's up. ApeCoin's been having a bunch of drama lately. I'm not really up to speed on everything happening over there. But ApeCoin is the token for the Bored Ape Yacht Club NFT, and them moving into their own metaverse world, and they had a big land sale. Apparently a bunch of stuff went wrong and it wasn't pretty. Like I said, I don't know a whole lot about that. So let's take a look at some of the top ones here. Bitcoin is at $38,448.78. Ethereum is at $2,832.21. BNB, the Binance token, 387.49. XRP 61 cents. Solana 87.56, down 13.6% in the past week. Terra $84.29, down 13.1% in the past week. Cardano 78 cents, down 12.5% in the past week. Let's see, we hear the Doge 13 cents, down 17.1% in the past week. And Polkadot, 14.94, down 17.6%. Avalanche, $60.57. That's one of the lowest I've seen it in a while, down 16.8%. The Sheebs, it's always some weird number, way below zero. It's down 15.1%. Also, we have Polygon, $1.10, down 18%. Kronos for the crypto.com chain, down 27.8%. So, man, everything has just tanked. Chainlink down 16.6% at $11.22. It has not reached single digits yet. And what else do we have that stands out to me? I like Theta Network. That's down 22% at $2.35. And yeah, man, everything's looking pretty gnarly. What it do, but you know what? I still have faith in this crypto market. I have faith in the Web3 movement. I haven't really looked at prices that much, honestly. I know a lot of people say they look at CoinGecko or CoinMarketCap on their phones like 20 times a day. I used to, and I used to buy every token that I looked at because it was just crazy. And you read the white paper and you get all stoked on it, and you collect them like a bunch of merit badges, and your merit badge sash going across your chest, and you have 1 billion of these tokens in your wallet. And I've learned, the hard way several times. That's not necessarily always the wise thing to do, or the wise thing to do, is to just collect a bunch of tokens. So yeah, a lot of them have gone to absolute zero. I have made a few, some decent money off of a few like gems that spiked up and then dropped down. For instance, the BitTorrent token. When it first came out, I bought a bunch and it spiked up dramatically, and I sold right at the top. I flawless execution on that one. It was absolutely not according to my skill, and it was not according to my plan, but yeah, that was one that I did very well on. It was just a fluke. It happened, and hey, man, so whatever. All right, today it's Tuesday. Let's talk, let's call it Twitter Tuesday. There's been a lot of stuff going on with Twitter, with Elon Musk buying it and all that stuff. Twitter's a good space, I like Twitter for crypto, and it is what it is for crypto. But I find a lot of good stuff on there. And one of the reasons that I have faith in crypto still, regardless of all this dip and this crab market and all this FUD going around, which FUD stands for fear, uncertainty, and doubt, for those of you who are not familiar with the crypto space. And we've seen a lot of institutional FUD coming from the institutions towards Bitcoin. And if you watch my last episode, I explained that very clearly, how a lot of the institutions do not want you and I to have our autonomous financial freedom. And so Bitcoin, it brings that autonomous financial freedom, and they definitely do not want us to be able to keep that Bitcoin. So they spreading a bunch of, there's a lot of FUD being spread. You have the World Economic Forum trying to suggest that Bitcoin needs to change its code, which is ridiculous because Bitcoin is run by a bunch of nodes, and they have Bitcoin improvement protocols that need to be voted on anonymously. And then if it even is ever changed, all that would be is just a fork of Bitcoin. And if you look, you don't really see it so much anymore, but it used to be up in the top like 20. There used to be a bunch of Bitcoin forks. And what do I mean by fork? Okay, when you make a dramatic change to the code, it creates a fork. And a fork is basically an entirely new blockchain, and a lot of times the original blockchain just carries on. And that's what happened back in 2016, I believe, to Ethereum. So and that created an Ethereum Classic. They had the big DAO hack, and Ethereum is they wanted it to be as decentralized as possible. That's the ethos of Ethereum. It's the ethos of Bitcoin. It's the ethos. It should be the ethos of every single blockchain out there. Well, not blockchain, but every cryptocurrency, I guess, you can use blockchain without it being a cryptocurrency. But anyway, the point is Ethereum was supposed to be decentralized. They had a DAO, and a DAO is a decentralized autonomous organization, which acted as the treasury, and everybody, would vote and for the protocol actions and stuff like that. And it somehow got hacked, and it was being drained right before their eyes. And the entire Ethereum developers and everybody working on Ethereum was watching this wallet be drained, and they had to make a decision. They had to make a decision quick. Do they compromise on decentralization and shut down the hack and basically fork off the blockchain and create a new version of Ethereum from then on? Or do they allow what was going on with the hack and continue in the spirit of decentralization? Well, they had a lot of money in there for the time, and they ended up taking some decisive action and forking it off and creating Ethereum as we know it, and the original one is left there as Ethereum Classic. And a lot of people criticize, especially Bitcoin maximalists, that say that Ethereum compromised on its decentralization, and therefore it will never be a centralized blockchain. It will never be superior to Bitcoin, and yada yada, all that stuff. Bitcoin has had its own points of failure as well in the past with some kind of Bitcoin improvement protocol compromises and stuff like that. So Ethereum led to that fork. And so the Ethereum you use now today is the fork of the Ethereum Classic. And then so a lot of people also in the past have felt like they need to improve Bitcoin. So they created Bitcoin Cash. There's Dogecoin is a fork of Bitcoin. Litecoin is a fork of Bitcoin in order to create faster transactions. Let's see what else. So there's been things like Bitcoin Diamond, there's Bitcoin Gold, and what was the other one? Bitcoin SV. Bitcoin Satoshi Vision, brought about by Craig Wright, who claimed to be Bitcoin, Satoshi, which is Satoshi is the original founder of Bitcoin. So there's been a lot of forks, and so the World Economic Forum, going back to that, saying that Bitcoin needs to change its code in order to be environmentally friendly. They say, look at proof of stake. Proof of stake only uses a fraction of the energy that proof of work does, and with a slight change of code, we can make Bitcoin green friendly. No, that's called a fork. And you see what happens when forks happens. Really, as far as I know, the only fork that has been quote unquote successful has been the Ethereum fork. But then people argue that Ethereum is not as centralized as Bitcoin. So, I don't know. There's a whole lot of different ways to look at it, but a lot of Bitcoiners, they say, go ahead, fork it, see what happens, World Economic Forum. And I don't trust the World Economic Forum at all. And if they were to fork it, I wouldn't be buying that. I'd be buying the original Bitcoin because it would be carrying on. And I think that's what would happen. Anyway, so yeah, enough about that. Let's see, in the Twitter space, I bookmarked a Chainlink takeaway article here by Bubba Fox. Link takeaways from Sergey Fireside Chat 2 weeks ago. And here's the article where he got it from. And this happened at South by Southwest. This was, South by Southwest was in mid-March, so this is probably a little old, but some takeaways from it. This is why I still have faith in crypto and in Web3, regardless of all this crabby market and this weirdness and this FUD and all this stuff, is because I'm not in it for the price action right now. I'm trying to see this as a new .com era, a new ushering in of the internet, except now this is the ushering in of the new internet, of Web 3.0. And there are so many advantages to this of users owning their own data. So let's read some of these key takeaways from Sergey Nazarov South by Southwest Fireside Chat with Ash Bennnington. So the annual South by Southwest Film Festival in Austin, Texas, right around the corner from me, is known for featuring the latest and most celebrated in film, music, and technology. Actually, I'm in the suburbs. It's about 20 minutes away. Whatever. If you want to get technical, at this year's event, Chainlink co-founder Sergey Nazarov joined Real Vision's host Ash Bennnington for a virtual fireside chat, illuminating how Chainlink's decentralized Oracle infrastructure enables Web3 and its cross-chain interoperability protocol, the CCIP. And Chainlink has come out, last year with Chainlink 2.0, and Chainlink has been weird, man. It kind of just lingers for a while, and it'll spike up, and then it'll dip back down about halfway. I'm talking about price-wise. I've been in Chainlink since I first started getting into crypto. It was one of the first crypto projects I put money into, and I guess it's sitting at $11. I got in well before $11, so I guess I'm doing okay. But a lot of people have pretty much been wrecked on a lot of stuff because it did get up pretty high up. But I think that I don't know what is going on. There might be some manipulation, but people have been waiting for Chainlink staking, and there's a lot of things on hold for that. But you have a lot of very high up people who have gotten involved in the Chainlink, the company, such as Eric Schmidt, one of the, is he an ex-CEO of Google, I believe? Yeah, so you get people like that jump in to and go to work at Chainlink, and Ari Jules, that go to work at Chainlink, and they're not playing around. And so price is like the last thing that they're thinking about. They're working on projects and they're developing. So anyway, they've created this cross-chain interoperability protocol because, as you know, or you may not know, in crypto there are a lot of different layer 1 blockchains. You have Bitcoin, you have Ethereum, you have Avalanche, you have Cardano, you have you can go on and on with all these different blockchains. EOS, you have I'm Phantom, Harmony, just tons of different blockchains out there that are layer 1 blockchains. All right, and that normally people would say they're all competing. I wouldn't say they're necessarily competing. I think that they each have their own niche and their specialization. They have different levels of centralization. Some don't have very many nodes at all for the consensus network, and some have a lot of nodes. Like Bitcoin has like almost 15,000 nodes. So it's the most decentralized blockchain. Where another blockchain, like say for Arc, for instance, Arc blockchain would be very good for the internet, but it's not really that centralized. But for things like the metaverse and stuff like that, where you need like real-time transactions. And in a proof of stake system, that's something that's good. So it really depends on what your needs are. And so a lot of people want to say, oh, there's these blockchain wars. They're not all competing. They each have their own special little functions and reasons for being there and reasons for doing what they do. So that's the way I see it. But anyway, so Chainlink is not really a blockchain. Chainlink is what's called an oracle. And an oracle is a piece of code, a tokenized piece of code that will allow data from the real world to be funneled into the blockchain. So say, for instance, look over here at these prices on CoinGecko. How do these prices get here? Where do they get this information? They have a bunch of different sources, and all those sources, they report their information via Chainlink nodes, right? And those Chainlink nodes pick up the information and they send it to the blockchain. And then CoinGecko uses a Chainlink oracle to pick up that information and adjust it in real time. And so all that information is being funneled to the blockchain via Chainlink. So that's pretty fascinating. And it's how real time information can get there. And say, for instance, you have weather data, and you have an insurance company on the blockchain that issues automatic payouts depending on the real-time information it gets. Well, it could use Chainlink as the oracle in order to be able to funnel that data to the insurance company blockchain to trigger smart contracts to issue real-time payouts. So you don't have to go through that long, tenuous, application and talk to an insurance adjuster and all that information. You can get real-time payouts due to real-time information that gets funneled into the blockchain via Chainlink. So that's one benefit of Chainlink. However, Chainlink has been on the Ethereum blockchain. For the most part, their token, the Chainlink token, that is used as the reward system for the nodes that gather the information. That token is the reward, and the value of that token. The people that use Chainlink pay in the link token. Right? Okay, so. The problem is you have a lot of information coming from a lot of different blockchains, and it's hard for a lot of those blockchains to talk to each other. So because they're in silos. So if you imagine, or a skyscraper, imagine a skyscraper. You like the Detroit GM building, I believe that's what the car company, and you see that building in Detroit. Yeah, let me see if I can pull it up. Detroit GM building. All right. Then you have that building, and you have the middle building, and you have 3 other little skyscrapers around it. And, they all go upwards, and you can imagine maybe the center building has the executive group, and then maybe, one of the other, there it is. Yeah. So here's the GM building, and look at this, let's find a good picture of it. This building right here, is where all the corporate management sits, and then over here you have engineering, and over here in this other building, you would have sales, and so everything's siloed up, and in order to get from one building to another, if you were at the top floor of the sales building, you'd have to go down the elevator, then you have to go talk to engineering. You walk across the food court here, and grab yourself a Cinnabon, and then you go up all the way to the engineering floor if you want to talk to engineering about any decisions. And that's a long call on hold. Hold on, I don't really know if we can supply that part. I have to talk to engineering to see if we have that capability. Can I call you back? Okay. And then right there at that callback process might be where you lose a customer, because that's where somebody with instant information can step in and take that sale away from you. So anyway, yeah. Like I said, you have to go down the elevator, across the food court, grab your Cinnabon, then go all the way up to engineering. Then once you get your information, go all the way down the elevator, go back, take a poop from that Cinnabon in the food court, and then go all the way back up to your sales department. So yeah. Those are the silos that exist from blockchain to blockchain. And if you want to transfer money from one blockchain to another blockchain, you have to basically sell that token down at the base level in the little market square, and then you have to buy the other blockchain's token. And a lot of times, with exchange rates, that doesn't always pan out. They do have bridges, so you can imagine sky bridges going across back and forth. But the security of bridges, if you walk across a glass bridge, that's kind of scary. Same thing with jumping across bridges in the crypto world. It can be kind of scary. There's been a lot of bridge hacks. So look at the Solana hack, the wormhole hack. That was a bridge hack. I believe the Ronin hack was recently for $600 million was a hack, a bridge hack as well. So yeah, bridges are a scary place. I don't know if you have a phobia of big, tall bridges, but I know Houston and Louisiana has their fair share of extremely high bridges, those big flyover overpass things. So yeah. Anyway, I got to get back on the topic. So let's go back to this article. So Chainlink has created this cross-chain interoperability protocol. It's being engineered as a secure abstraction layer that connects legacy 2 web systems to a new world of Web 3. So you can imagine already blockchains not really being able to talk to each other. So Web 2 systems, can definitely are having a hard time talking to Web 3 systems. So can you imagine LinkedIn trying to go to Web 3? Everybody having their profile, and then that'd be cool. Them create a little wallet capability in which you could plug in your wallet and your decentralized ID to a LinkedIn, platform. I don't really love LinkedIn, but it's just a thought. So sorry, I got off on the tangent of different blockchains being able to talk to each other, but the CCIP, the cross-chain interoperability protocol is engineered as a secure abstraction layer that connects legacy Web 2 systems to the new world of Web 3. So here's 7 conversation key takeaways. All right. So 1, Web 3's fundamental paradigm shift is about reinventing how people form relationships with each other and with institutions. Smart contracts powered by Chainlink oracles can replace agreements based on institutional promises with agreements that are guaranteed by cryptography. So no longer do you have to trust the other entity. Everything is there written in code and cannot be compromised because it is done cryptographically. Okay, so number 2, Sergey Nazarov envisions CCIP as the tipping point that will bring Web3 systems to parity with the speed, efficiency, and composability of Web 2 systems. Because one of the drawbacks of Web3 right now is that it is slow, and the gas is high too if you're on the Ethereum network. So CCIP will bring Web3 systems to parity with that speed, efficiency, and composability of Web 2. And by composability, I mean being able to take one application and bring it into another application. Say, for instance, if you're a web developer and you use a stock market ticker widget, right? And that widget you plug into your news page, and that is composability. You being able to use that little graph that has real-time information being fed to it from the stock market and say you are a newspaper website, and that little stock market ticker is made by an entirely different company. It's made by an entirely different group, but you are able to plug that widget into your website. So yes, you are able to use the product of a completely separate company to plug in. And Web 2 has a bunch of composability things about it. But Web 3 is also starting to have a bunch of composability as well. And you see a lot of this happening in DeFi. For instance, some protocol may use Aave as part of their DeFi system, and Aave is where you can lock up your crypto in order to borrow against it. So a bunch of these different DeFi protocols may be able to mix together and create a very streamlined DeFi protocol in order to maximize your savings and your ability to borrow as well. So that's composability as well. So anyway, number 3, mainstream adoption of Web3 systems is likely to accelerate as more people become sensitive to inflation and more centralized systems. Robinhood and Evergrande fail to uphold their promises. So just look at inflation. And I have more and more people hitting me up every single day, asking me about crypto, Bitcoin, where the best place to start is. I get when I start getting the texts and the DMs from the normies, asking me about where to start in crypto, what the best thing is. A lot of times they ask me about mining and stuff like that, and I'm like, you got to learn the system first before you start jumping into a lot of that stuff. I honestly, I try to teach them the difference between holding your keys to your crypto versus it being on a centralized exchange. As far as buying from your dollars or your fiat currency to crypto in the first place, I don't know. For me, crypto.com is a good place to start for that. And then from there, you can just be sure to take it off of those centralized exchanges and learn how to custody your own crypto, because those centralized exchanges are very compromising places to be. So number 4, Chainlink approaches cross-chain interoperability as a matter of communication, not just movement between chains. It's not just about going between chains. It's also a matter of communication. It's not just about going from building to building. It is being able to communicate. So Nazarov said CCIP is intended to be a future-proof standard for cross-chain communication, analogous to the early internet's global TCP communication standard. Now, imagine if the very first people or person that invented TCP/IP were to have tokenized that. My God, that person would be the richest person in the world, wouldn't they? So now they are tokenizing a new set of communication standards. That's what they're trying to do with CCIP. and it's tokenized, and you can have a part of that by owning Chainlink. So anyway, number 5, CCIP will apply the same Chainlink Oracle network that secured over $75 billion in smart contracts at the end of 2021 to a communication standard that is resistant to adverse events like the recent $375 million wormhole token bridge exploit that I mentioned. Chainlink secured over $75 billion in smart contracts, and it's resistant to these types of bridge attacks. So it's another reason to trust in the security of the CCIP. The goal of CCIP is to allow Web3 developers to create cross-chain smart contracts utilizing different blockchains optimized to perform particular tasks. These consumer-friendly cross-chain smart contracts would replicate Web 2 applications like Uber that incorporate numerous different APIs. So there's been an issue, like a lot of developers would create a smart contract on one blockchain, but it's not really interoperable with another blockchain. What CCIP does, it allows the communication between those two blockchains to happen, and it allows the Web3 developers to create those smart contracts to be able to interact with two very different blockchains. You don't have to just create. So imagine if you had a website that only worked with Google Chrome. And if you were that's a bad example, but imagine if Chrome wasn't interoperable. Imagine if you had a website, that only worked on Apple computers, right? On Macs. And then, you have a PC and you could not log in to that website, or you could not pull up that website on your PC because it was built by somebody using a Mac. So that's kind of a similar, it's all the really rough analogy, but it's a similar situation as what we're seeing on a lot of these dApps and stuff like that, and the ability to be able to connect to them. So the goal of CCCP, it's not Russia in 1980s. The goal of CCIP is to allow Web3 developers to create cross-chain smart contracts utilizing different blockchains optimized to perform particular tasks. So it could go across different blockchains. Then number 7, enterprises, like big businesses, will be able to integrate CCIP as an abstraction layer that allows legacy infrastructure to seamlessly interface with different chains through one framework. I pretty much just said that, satisfying what Nazarov believes will be an inevitable increase in users' demand for DeFi. Those are 7 really good takeaways. If I will link this in the video description, and this interview is right here on this YouTube. I highly suggest you watch it. Let's see where we at. Okay. Man, I already got to 32 minutes. I didn't think I would have anything to talk about today. And I didn't even touch the Infinite Machine movie that I wanted to talk about. They've announced, who's going to be the director of this. And I think they're casting it right now. This is the NFT movie. Infinite Machine is a book right here. I read it by Cami Russo. Basically talks about the history of Ethereum, and how this crypto movement started. It's a really good book. They're making a movie out of it. I'll talk about this next time. I want to go into some more details about it. It's a really cool project, and they're funding the movie by NFTs. All right, man. So that being said, let me get out of this.
Welcome to Eureka Street Crypto.
Why is this? Shoot. Okay. Sorry. The intro always starts every time I switch screens. I got to fix that. All right. So I got to get to work. CEO is there today, so I got to be on my best behavior. All right. I will talk to you next time. Talk to you when I talk to you, man. All right. Later.
Thank you for making it to the end of this program. If you actually like this content, give a thumbs up. And if you want to hear more, just hit the subscribe button. I'm available on YouTube, Odyssey, and BitChute, and on all the major podcasting platforms in audio version. Spotify specifically. If you would like to follow and leave a review, that would help a lot. I am also available on Twitter at EurekaJohn1. That's EUREKA John, JOHN, and the number 1. My DMs are always open. Feel free to shoot me a message. Thanks again.